I know what this feels like. You know when you are in the dumps, hang dog, feeling bad about your weight, you might have almost given up on it and you're just kind of hating yourself because you were doing so well and then you ended up gaining all the weight back, plus maybe more than you even weighed before you lost it. And then you find some kind of new diet and you get hope, right? You get that little spark of hope. And then what happens? Is it possible to be addicted to the hope diet? That's what we're going to take a look at. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. Today is episode number 385. The topic: the hope diet addiction and how to break free. Hello. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show, or if this is your very first time tuning in, welcome. My name is JoLynn Braley. I am the permanent weight loss coach who founded and put together and strategized and proved the Inner Self Diet. The Inner Self Diet is my proven proprietary step-by-step system to struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. The Inner Self Diet addresses the biggest problem that is stopping you right now from losing that weight and keeping it off. And your biggest problem, what is that? It's your mindset. It's how you think about weight loss. It's how you think about food. It's how you think about yourself. It's your beliefs. I mean, heck, let's just look at a very simple example. If you believe weight loss is too hard, guess what? It's going to be too hard, and it doesn't matter how many times you embark on the hope diet, which is what we're going to look at today. How will you ever achieve your goal weight if you believe weight loss is too hard? Or here's another popular one. Weight loss only works for everybody else, not for me. Only other people can lose weight, not me. Or here's another very popular belief. And these are beliefs that I have seen since 2009 in professionally coaching my weight loss coaching clients to struggle-free freedom in the Inner Self Diet. So these are very, very, very common. Another one that's very common is, I don't deserve it. I'm not worth it. I'm not worth taking the time that it takes to get to my goal weight. Everyone else is more important than me. I could go on and on, but I don't want to do that here on this very short, brief weight loss podcast. And I want to get to this topic of the hope diet addiction and how to break free of that, because it's very, very important. Before we do that, though, before we take a look at the hope diet addiction, I do have a free download for you. I highly recommend that you grab it now. You can get it at www.easyfunweightloss.com/ebook. That's easyfunweightloss.com/ebook. And I have my free ebook for you there, which will teach you how to make weight loss easy and fun from the inside out, the tips that your mama never taught you, and maybe you'll gain a little bit more insight into how critically important your mindset is in making weight loss work, in making weight loss doable, much less making it easy and fun, which probably right now, when you hear me say easyfunweightloss.com, it might even sound a little frustrating because weight loss is not easy for you and it's not fun. But I promise you that's because of where you are right now with your mindset. If you were to do the proven steps to change your mindset, which it's not an overnight thing. I mean, I could tell you right now, hey, start becoming aware of what you're thinking. Write it down. And then you have to have tools to change it. But that's a first step. You have to first become aware of what you're even thinking. I have had some coaching clients who had a very hard time with that in the beginning. So that's the first step, becoming aware of what you're even thinking. And write it down, pen on paper. But the thing is that to get a weight loss mindset, it's not an overnight fix. You start where you are and take a small step forward, and then another small step forward, and then another small step forward, and you keep moving forward. And I've never seen it fail with what I do with my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. As long as you do the steps, you can't just listen to me talk about it. But anyway, what I was saying is you can just grab my free download for now to start learning a little bit more. And you can get that at www.easyfunweightloss.com/ebook. All right, so what is this thing about the Hope Diet? And what about having an addiction to the Hope Diet? Well, hope is good. Let me just share that with you first. Hope is very, very good. In fact, when a new coaching client signs up with me to become a client, and I'm going to help them, I'm going to give them my Get Real feedback. I help them break free. I do everything that I do. I give them everything that I've got so that they can get to this place in 8 weeks or less by our 8th coaching call. And they're struggle-free with their eating and their weight, which means that they're able to live a healthy lifestyle without getting in their own way anymore, without sabotaging themselves, without the emotional eating, without the binge eating, without all of the problems that are plaguing you right now and stopping you from losing weight for good. So the first thing that I hear from a new coaching client is that they feel hope. They feel hope, and that is fantastic. That is wonderful. That's a very, very, very good thing. Okay? But there's another side to this hope, and that's where the Hope Diet addiction is. With my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet, that's not a hope addiction when they say that they feel hope when they start working with me, because they're going to be walking, and they begin immediately walking down a path of proven steps, and it leads to the outcome where they break free. If you want to hear a couple of my clients and hear them share with you their problems before working with me and what happened afterwards, what happened from doing the Inner Self Diet, just search in the JoLynn Braley Show for the phrase real results, and you should be able to find that special podcast series I did. If you can't, a really easy way to find it is to go to www.theinnerselfdiet.com/RR. That's theinnerselfdiet.com/RR. which stands for real results. www.theinnerselfdiet.com/RR. And what I have there is a page that lists out links to each of those podcast episodes. So that's might be easier for you to just go there if you have a hard time finding those podcasts in whatever portal it is that you're listening to this podcast in. Okay, so there's a difference between the Hope Diet addiction and the hope that my new weight loss coaching clients feel, and the hope that my Inner Self Diet coaching clients feel that continues to grow and actually turn into real results. They're two different things. So what is the Hope Diet addiction? The Hope Diet addiction is when you're feeling bad about your weight, you're feeling hopeless, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling stuck, you're mad at yourself, you feel kind of like giving up, but you haven't totally given up, and you're looking around to find other new things, other new ideas. Maybe you search on news sites and you see an ad for something that says, oh, she lost 20 pounds in 20 days. And then you click on it and it leads you somewhere. And then you find this new diet or this new something, and you get excited. You feel hopeful. All right. But it's the same thing that you've always done, which is some kind of a diet hack or some kind of a special ingredient. Like, remember when, wasn't it cinnamon that was supposed to be some kind of magical ingredient? And if all you did was put cinnamon in your coffee, then you'd lose 10 pounds in a week, something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean, Jean? So these silly kind of things that when you're desperate, you don't think they're silly and they give you hope. Okay? So when you feel really bad and you're feeling really stuck and you're hating your weight, and especially if, oh, hey, you know how many coaching clients I've had who had weight loss surgery? And that doesn't even work. And the reason that doesn't work, guess why? Can you guess why it doesn't work? I wish this was a two-way communication. That's what I have with my coaching clients, but this right here is just a one-way communication. Obviously, I'm just recording this free weight loss podcast for you in my home office recording studio. So I don't know what you're guessing. But the reason that weight loss surgery doesn't work is because it doesn't address the real problem. What is the real problem? Is it really the stomach? Because maybe you've noticed that emotional eaters, if you're an emotional eater or if you're a binge eater, when's the last time that you ate for physical hunger? Can you remember? When is the last time that you were physically hungry? So what weight loss surgery does is it changes your body physically. Depends on what kind of surgery you get, but it could make your stomach smaller. You know, that's a typical type of weight loss surgery. But if you're not eating for physical hunger anyway, does it make a little bit of sense why so many people, so many women and men too, who get weight loss surgery end up, they do lose some weight and then they gain it all back, plus more. And I have had coaching clients who have had weight loss surgery and it didn't fix it because it doesn't fix the mental, the emotional, the mindset problems that have you using food to cope with life, or using food to feel better, or using food to avoid, or using food for whatever reason you're using food. Does that make any sense? So, the hope diet is when you find some new diet, a food diet, some new hack, some new something, could be even weight loss surgery. It could be that you go that far to actually cut up your body, you know? And you get this hope. You feel hopeful. You feel hopeful that finally this is going to work, right? Now, most of the time, the hope diet is a new food diet. 99% of the time, that's what it is. And so you go on this new food diet, could even be a New Year's resolution, new food diet, and you get all excited. And then a week goes by, maybe only 2 days goes by, and you're already out and you're feeling bad again. And then you look for another one because you're feeling so bad, you want to feel better. And there's nothing wrong with that. So you go look for a new food diet, you find another one, and then you feel hope again. And then you try that. And then that doesn't work because either it's not healthy, it's not real, or maybe it is healthy, but you're not able to stick with it because you don't have the right mindset. You don't believe you're worth it. And then you feel bad again. And then what do? You go look for another one. And it just keeps going and going. It's the hope diet addiction. Is this making any sense at all? Okay, so specifically, why doesn't the hope diet work? Specifically, it's because you keep doing the same thing over and over again, just like Einstein's definition of insanity. And if you haven't heard that before, what that is when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you expect to get a different result. then that is Einstein's definition of insanity. And so you have to do something different in order to get different results. However, it's very common that when it comes to weight loss, so many people are brainwashed by the mainstream diet industry to believe that all you need is another food diet, because that makes sense. I mean, really, you've got extra fat on your body, you want to lose weight, so it should just be only about what you're eating, right? And your exercise, right? That's what you'd think. But it's actually more about what you think than it is about the food diet. You absolutely have to change your eating. You have to do all of that. You've got to change your lifestyle. You have to change the physical part of all of this. Absolutely. It is required. You can't just sit around and think positive and expect to lose weight. But what I'm saying is, if you don't address the foundation of why you have overeaten all these years and what your beliefs are about your weight and about your body and about yourself, and why you're not just doing it, hey, you probably already have a healthy eating plan. Why aren't you just doing it? What's the big deal? The thing is, it's not a big deal when you have the right mindset. And that right there is what no food diet, no weight loss surgery, none of the typical things that people go to fix these problems, those typical things don't fix what's right between your own two ears, which is where this whole thing started. Does this make any sense at all? Because for a very brief example, let's say that you believe weight loss is too hard for me, only other people can do it. Well, that right there is going to shoot you in the foot before you even get started. Because why would you keep going? You might, you'll get that hit of hope. You'll find a new food diet, get that hit of hope, and dive into it for a few days, maybe a few weeks. Maybe you can even stick with it for a couple months. More than likely not, because if you believe weight loss is too hard for me, only other people can do it, only other people can lose weight, weight loss doesn't work for me, it only works for others. I'm different. I can't lose weight. If you believe that kind of stuff, why would you even stick with anything? Why? So does it make sense that those beliefs and your thinking has to change, and food diets don't address that? Does this make any sense at all? This is why the work that I do with my coaching clients is so powerful and why it works, because we're going to the root of the problem. And two-way personal communication about your personal challenges is required in order to get to the root of the problem. So that's not something to expect that you can get solved in a short free weight loss podcast, but you can open up your mind and take the first step to even realize how big of an issue your mindset is when it comes to actually losing weight and keeping it off. And if that's the only thing you get out of my free weight loss podcast, that's huge, because otherwise you will stay on that cycle of looking for more hope, getting a hope hit, continuing to search for the same solutions to a symptom, which is not actually the problem. The symptom being you're overweight and the solution being another food diet, but it's not ever addressing the real problem, which all starts with a thought. That's where everything starts. You have to first think a thought in order to take an action. You think a thought, you feel a certain way, you're an emotional eater or a binge eater, and you eat for your emotions, and then you make a decision based on that thought that made you feel a certain way. You make a decision, you eat based on that decision, and then you get the result of your weight. It all starts with a thought. If this is the only thing that you get out of the JoLynn Braley Show, that's massive. But then you'd want to, if you want to actually fix these problems, you'd want to get the help you need to solve all of this. Or you can try to figure it out on your own, but just don't expect that it'll be fast. And the reason for that is because none of us can see our own blind spots. That's why. So the fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be is with real professional coaching. That's not an app on your phone. That's not a book. That's not a blog post. It's where you're actually truly working with on the phone, talking with your permanent weight loss coach. And then there's more involved too, because you need to do some steps to unravel this pickle that you're in. So this addiction to the hope diet, is it making a little bit of sense? And this whole cycle, you're feeling bad, you look for something new, or you just find something new because you're looking around online and you get hopeful and you dive into that. But the real problem has never been addressed, so you can't stick with a new eating plan anyway. And then you're back to square one and you're still in the same problems with the emotional eating, the binge eating, the using food as a crutch, food is your friend, food is your fun, all of that. And you look for or you find something new and you get another hit of hope, right? And it just keeps going and going because you're only scratching the surface of the problem. You definitely, absolutely do need to change how you eat and what you eat. You need to live a healthy lifestyle, not a fad diet, but you've got to get healthy in your eating. But that 7.2% of the solution, 92.8% of the solution is getting healthy in your thinking, getting healthy in your emotional state, getting healthy in your psychology of how you address and look at and think about and believe about weight loss and about yourself. All right? Is this making any sense at all? It should make some sense if you've ever wondered why you've done so many food diets and so many different things, and here you are still struggling after how many years? 10, 20, 30, 40 or more years? You're still having the same problems. So then, how do you break free of this hope diet addiction? How do you break free? What's the solution? Because it's really easy to just keep in it. Keep looking for something new. A new book, something else. Well, the first step is awareness. And even having the awareness that, wow, I think I am addicted to the hope diet. That right there is a huge, big first step. And if this podcast right here, this free weight loss podcast that I am doing for you right now, if this is the only thing that this episode helps you with, that's awesome. That's awesome because that right there is the first step. If you're not aware that you're in this cycle and that you're addicted to the hope diet and you're constantly chasing that hit of hope, but you're never actually addressing the real problem, you're only addressing the symptoms, then, hey, this is awesome because you can't make any changes if you're not aware of the problem. So becoming aware is the first step. That's the first step to breaking free of the hope addiction diet. What's the second step? Well, you got to make a decision. What do you want to do? I mean, you could just keep on the same track, but at least you're consciously doing it then. At least you're consciously aware that you're chasing another hit of hope, that you're on this cycle of looking for a new eating plan or a new book, a new tip, a new something. And, if you're consciously choosing that at least puts you in your own power. So you're not just unconsciously, blindly stuck and wondering, why the hell aren't I losing weight? You know what I mean, Jean? Okay, so that's one way that you could go. Make that decision that you're okay with it and you're going to keep doing what you're doing. Another decision you could make is, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I actually want to get to the bottom of this problem, and it's making sense what JoLynn is saying, and I need to address my mindset. So then how do you do that? Well, it depends on how fast you want to do it. If you are okay with the long, slow route and you want to try to figure it out on your own, could take a few years, could take another 10 years, another 20 years, I don't know. But you could start right now, and one way to start is you take a pen and paper and you just start noting your thoughts about weight loss, your thoughts about your eating, your thoughts about food. How do you think about food? What are your thoughts that are driving you to eat more food? For example, do you often have the thought that, well, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what I eat now because I'm just going to start again on Monday? But then when you turn around and look behind you, you see that you've been saying this for how many years? So then you can start to become aware of whether or not what you're doing is working. So that is a first step right there. Just simply becoming aware of what you're thinking, writing it down. You could start a journal if you want. That can help you raise your level of self-awareness. Beyond that, you've got to have actual tools to work with. If you want accountability, if you want to actually have a professional coach in your corner who can see what you can't see, because none of us can see our own blind spots, that's a different story. That's where you want to move fast. That's where you want to actually break free of these problems as quickly as you can. That's what I do with my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. If that's what you want, then your first step is to apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me. That's where we get on the phone and I can find out more. You can find out more. Let's find out if or how I might be able to help you totally break free of the Hope Diet addiction and break free of your emotional eating, or if you're a binge eater, whatever it is that is in your way that has you caught up in these problems and these frustrations and this irritation and the exhaustion of constantly searching for something new. If you really want to break free of this and do it fast, that is another decision you can make. And the weight loss discovery session with me, it is complimentary. Since it is a $497 value, you must complete an application for it. So what you do is you go to www.discovery-session.com. You opt in with your name and email, your first name and email address. And then on the next page, there should be a button there, and you click that button and that opens up the application and you fill that out and submit it. And then we can set up a time. It's that simple. That's for you if you want to stop wondering, why is it that you are so smart and successful and you have all the knowledge that you need about how to lose weight? How many diets have you done? You know that you need to eat healthy. You know all this stuff, but here you are, you're still what? 50, 75, 20 pounds overweight, whatever it is, and you're just not getting it. You're not getting there. You're not doing it, right? And you don't want to let another year slide by and still be stuck in these problems. You know you need help. And you know that you're worth the help. Now, you might have a struggle in that area, meaning that there's a part of you that knows that you're worth it, and you might have another part of you that doubts that you're worth it. Well, which part is stronger? Because you're going to need to do the steps in order to bring that part of you who doubts that you're worth it. You got to bring that up to the level of the other part of you who believes in you. And all of my coaching clients, when we first start working together, they've got that part of themselves that is in major struggle. But you have to have a big enough part of you that believes in yourself enough to know that you are worth getting to the bottom of this problem, and it makes sense to you that it's about what's between your own two ears. The food diet isn't enough, because if the food diet were enough, why would you have this problem? Why would you be overweight? Because all you have to do is just follow the food diet. If you have a healthy one, if it's sane, if it's healthy, you know what I mean? Not some weird, crazy fad diet thing. Heck, I've even had registered dietitians who did the inner self diet and graduated and broke free. And having that knowledge wasn't enough for them. Because 92.8% of this is about your mindset. So, if you want to get this done fast, like I said, just go fill out an application at www.discovery-session.com, and then we can have a two-way communication. Actually talk on the phone where it's personal. Because while I hope that my free weight loss podcast is a great value to you and to everyone else who listens to the JoLynn Braley Show, there's only so much that can be done in a one-way communication. You know, you're not getting any kind of personal feedback. And hey, do you want to get real? Have you listened to any of my Get Real episodes? You got to be willing to get real, which means becoming aware of where you are right now, being honest with yourself, and being willing to move forward out of that place where you are stuck right now. Why not? Why not? What do you have to lose? Except some weight, some bad feelings, some negative thinking, some stinking thinking, some limiting beliefs, some big old baggage. A lot of baggage. Would you like to let that baggage go? Thanks for tuning in today for episode number 385 of the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet, the diet that actually works if you do it. I've never seen it fail unless you don't do it. You got to do it. And I wish you your best life, living inside of your ideal body.